everyone, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well, hope your day is going well, and that you're having a really great day. Hope you've drank lots of water, staying hydrated, have eaten something. Yeah, my day has been eh, is the best I can say about it because some of you know because of my Twitter, I've mentioned it once on stream, I do have a muscle tear right now in my rib area, and that causes pain in like my stomach, my chest, my throat sometimes. Today it's been a little bit rocky, so I had to miss my class, which kind of sucks, but you know, it's not too bad, not as bad as the first day. It's getting there, it'll just take a while to heal. So anyway, today we're doing our creepy encounters. So we're gonna jump right into that, but one more thing before we go into it is that we just need about one more average viewer until I'm affiliate, which is really awesome. The first emote is all ready to go, so as soon as we're affiliated, that will drop, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support you show me. I'm really excited to be able to start doing emotes and like chat interactive things and all of that stuff with you guys. So we are going to change screens and start our creepy music and get right into the creepy encounters. I have a dark version of my overlay for this. Okay, so I pulled up the top posts of the last year, and we're just going to pick up where we left off. So we're going to start with this one at the top, and as always, I won't be reading chat while I read these. I will take a break between stories to read chat, catch up, but I do want to hear all of your thoughts in either chat or the comments on YouTube if you're watching the VOD there. So let's get right into it. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for the follow, Shabab8117. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. So happy to have you here. Alright. So, first story. This is from 8 months ago by Holiday Narwhal 5423, and this is called My Daughter is Being Stalked at a Mall Amusement Park by a Couple. Now, these stories are true. Putting that out there. The scary stories I read every Monday are short fictional stories. These creepy encounters are true. So, that being said, here we go. My daughter was about 8 or 9 at the time. We'll call her D for daughter. My mom loved taking her to this local amusement park where we live, and it had rides, rock climbing walls, etc. On this particular day, Dee was climbing all the walls. She would hit the bell on the first try at the top, climb down, and go to a more difficult section. That's when my mom noticed them. A couple in their 30s or 40s whispering to each other and looking at Dee. So my mom told Dee that they were going somewhere different and moved to another section of the park. Not more than 5 minutes later, there they were again, staring at Dee and whispering to each other. They left again, only to see the couple again getting closer to Dee. At that point, my mom was becoming paranoid and decided to leave. That's when they approached them both. They were trying to talk to Dee, and luckily my mom has an instinct with creepy people and snagged Dee and put her behind her, and this is what she told them. "What business do you have talking to an 8-year-old, you weird-ass perverts? You didn't think I had seen you following us all around the park, staring at my granddaughter and whispering to each other? I'm calling the police." At that point, they left in an absolute hurry. Didn't even give an explanation. Thanks, Mom. Who knows what their intentions were, but I'm glad we never got to find out. Glad to have such an observant mom in this situation. There's an edit, and she did report it and gave descriptions of the people, just in case a kid went missing. They also fixed a typo. Anyway, that's the end of that one. That was a nice short one to begin with. Also, hi, welcome to the chat. I'm so happy you were able to chat. Thank you so much for the interaction. I'm really happy to have you here. Yeah. So that was the end of that story. It was nice and short, but like stalking, especially with kids, is really scary. And even if your child is with you or another adult, you never know what someone will try, even if the child is with an adult. Just always stay safe, because you never know. We're gonna read some comments. Oh, I like to do the standalone comments instead of like all the threads. Especially, oh gosh, listen, a lot of these comments are like their own stories that relate, which is fine and all, but I'm not going to read those. I just want to stick with comments on the story posted. Nailed the response. I'm calling the police. Have their feelings. I'll bet they were going to offer a modeling gig, when in reality they had other things in mind. But I feel like it's a weird thing to offer. Like, I've never really heard of that being a normal thing of people asking kids, but like, I guess. More scary stories? Yeah, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're doing creepy encounters. Sounds 100% like sex trafficking. A lot of times there will be a woman in the mix to make it seem less suspicious, sometimes even other children. This is true. That's why I always keep my kids close to me in public settings like that, because you never know what could happen. There are a lot of sick people in this world, and we have to protect our kids at all costs. Good to know that your mom was so aware, and she spotted them before anything bad could happen. I kind of want to clarify this also. I don't mind swearing. I do it sometimes. Just for the sake of like YouTube and I don't know, however old people are viewing this, I prefer to keep it to a minimum and like only use it every so often. That doesn't mean you guys can't. I mean, it says in my rules, you know, you're more than welcome to. Just don't do like every other word. But I just wanted to clarify that I have no problem with it, even though I choose to try to change words and stories. People are weird. People are very weird. Okay, this one is from 7 months ago by Miss Kaya. Kya? Kya? Kaya? I don't know. It's Kyyyyaa, so it's like a elongated version, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This is called Be Careful Who You Match With. 30-year-old female. Okay, so this happened last night through this morning. I had to relocate for work. I'm far away from home, which is fine by me. All of my work projects are put on hold due to weather, so I've been stuck at home. I've only been here a couple weeks, so I still don't know anybody. After watching Netflix all day yesterday, I've decided to take an Uber out to a nearby bar just to have some social interaction going on around me. I met this guy through a dating app a few days ago, and we were talking about going out sometime at the end of the week. I figured it wouldn't hurt to invite him out. He agreed to meet me at the bar, and I did. We stayed there for maybe 3 hours. We weren't drunk or anything, but we ended up having a very nice evening. He's a medical technician, he had pets. At one point, he and I had gone abroad to the same location. We just hit it off. He seemed like the ideal date, so I'm gonna interject here of like, that's always smart whenever you're like online dating, have them meet you at the place. Never like have them pick you up or pick them up. It's just like, you just met them, you don't know them. So I'm just saying, good on OP for that. I would never online date. Me neither. I understand some people really need to find someone. I would prefer to make connections with people I meet in real life. It's too risky, I agree. So I invited him over to have a glass of wine. We drove over in his car. We skipped the wine, went straight to the bedroom, and spent the next couple of hours there. After we finished, we were just laying there, and then things got weird. So he asked if he could spend the night. I personally like my space when I sleep, but I told him that would be fine. He suddenly got really clingy, like an 8th grader who got his first girlfriend type of clingy. He started just cuddling me, which I guess wasn't horrible, but it was more like he was making a cocoon around me with his body. Then he just randomly put his face between my boobs and said, "I just love you so much." Whoa, I laughed, but it was a very forced laugh. Oh my goodness. I was sufficiently uncomfortable. I laid there and pretended to text on my phone until he fell asleep. Once I was sure he was asleep, I moved onto the couch and slept there. Come around 5 in the morning, he came into the living room and started picking a fight that I didn't sleep in the same bed with him. I told him that I was just having trouble sleeping, but he was starting to get on my nerves, and I requested that he leave. He didn't take the hint. He went into my fridge and helped himself to a beer while singing some song. He then took my phone from me and demanded the password so he could call a few of his buddies over. I can't make this up. I got up and yelled at him to get out. He just dropped my phone on the floor and gave me the death stare. My pet raccoon, yes, I have a raccoon, was getting scared. I got up right in his face and told him to leave or I would call the police. He flew into a fury, saying that if I called the cops, he was gonna go to jail and more than likely be extradited to Colorado, which isn't my current state. At this point, I was scared because I realized that I had no clue who this guy really was. He went into the bedroom and started fumbling through my bras and underwear. He got my phone to call the police, or I got my phone to call the police. I still have no clear idea why he was doing this other than mental instability. Anyways, he came out holding a pair of my panties and then rushed towards me and knocked the phone out of my hand. I grabbed my hunting knife from under the table and slashed it at him, but it didn't hit him. He started crying and running away. Like his reaction wasn't compatible with that of someone who was of sound mind. I walked after him, not to hurt him, but to make sure he was leaving. He got in his car and drove off. I called the police and filed a report and explained his bizarre behavior. They ran the name that he gave me, but nothing turned up. Not him, anyways. So, this name he gave me was a fake. His personality and life on dating profile was more than likely all fake. Just a crappy experience. Anyway, how's your morning going? Not the line. That's a bit too fast. Pro tip, call the police. People always lie online. That is true, people do always lie online. But, like, there's a huge difference between, like, someone being like, I like long walks on the beach and red wine, and they really don't. Or a photo of them when they were super buff and now they're not anymore. Then, this guy has a fake name and he's probably a criminal. So, the part with the boobs got me. I was like, whoa, I would have been uncomfortable too. What the heck? There's one edit. Okay, guys. I'm so grateful everyone's so equally concerned about both me and Cupcake, which is the raccoon. Even though I mentioned her once in this post, she is the subject of at least half the comments. She is okay. Nothing negative about this experience messed with her. She's the same goofy and sweet little raccoon that she has always been. I met too many weird people in my life. I mean, that is fair. There are very strange people, and I'm very fortunate I haven't met many, but I do know that they're out there, and because of stuff like this, I am on guard constantly. Okay, some comments. If this is true, it's epic. I mean, a creepy one-night stand is one thing, but then there's a pet raccoon, and you have a hunting knife hidden under your coffee table. But also, I'm glad you're safe, and I hope your little raccoon buddy isn't scared anymore. That is so true. Honestly, OP kind of a badass, not gonna lie. I met 11 people who are creepy as... Oh. I can't even think right now. I'm sure I've met a couple of weird... I definitely have, but I couldn't tell you how many. Stopped using dating apps a few years ago, too complicated with potential issues. I haven't dated in a dozen years. I'm trying to find ones that aren't, like, personal stories. This story is everything. Boobs, raccoon, knife, underwear, crying. Glad you're okay. This is so true. This was a ride for a short story. Personally, my rule is 3 dates before they come to my house, and that gives me enough time to analyze and look for any false information, such as the name, which after the first night I would have checked if they were real, as in who they said they were. If nothing shows up, I'm done, even if it was a good date. That honestly is a really good policy to have when it comes to online dating. Okay, sip of water. Had a stalker in my life before. I have not had that, and I'm very fortunate that I haven't, because I'm sure that was a very scary experience. I'm going to answer a quick text, and then we're going to move on to the next one. Alrighty. Okay, this next one is from 4 months ago. By Quinn771. It's pretty short. It's called 40-Year-Old Man Staying at My Hostel is Creeping Me Out. I'm a 23-year-old female staying in a Paris hostel with 4 beds to a room. This man introduces himself, and he tells me to take these vitamins he had. I kept saying no, and he keeps pushing and asks why I'm afraid to take them. I told him I don't need vitamins from him. Later that night, he invites me to go out with him and tells me he'll show me a good time. Ew. He offers me a bottle of wine, which I decline. At about 10, he heads down to the bar and tells me he'll wait 1 hour for me to come. I plan on going out that night, but not with him, obviously. He comes up at 11 and asks me why I didn't come. I told him that I wasn't going out that night. After he left, I got ready for the club and headed there. I had a great night and got home around 9 a.m. He was back in his room and was angry with me for going out without him. Literally, he was yelling at me. Immediately, I go downstairs and request a room change. That's the end of that one. Wow, that was a lot in a very small space. It sounds like this man shares the room with you. I'm assuming that it sounds like it. I wish it was clarified. But that is okay. I hope you are gonna be okay, and I hope you got that room change, because my goodness. Comments. I don't know what your protections are or what norms are upheld in France. My instinct would be find another hostel in another neighborhood and leave. This guy is scary, and I wouldn't trust your safety there. He sounds like a predator. Your ex-girlfriend's talked to you and your brother. I'm really sorry to hear that. Definitely a lot of stalking cases are like exes, which is really scary because it's like someone that you thought you could trust and that you probably left. It's like, oh dang, what the heck. Everyone just saying, don't sleep another night there, get out now. You're smart not to eat or drink anything he offers. Who knows what's in there? He sounds like a roofie guy. Probably, honestly. That's probably what the vitamins are. Crazy that staying out all night in Paris was safer than being in one room with this guy. This is true. He's acting like he owns you. He is. Me and my brother were confused because I trusted them, but after 4 days, this woman cuffed my brother's brakes in his car. Oh my goodness, what the heck? That is insane. That's insane. Okay. This one is, these are shorter ones. Um, this one is from 11 months ago by Silver Sun Dog Mom. It's called It's Possible a Fake Nurse Almost Kidnapped My Newborn Son. This happened in 1989. I'd given birth to my son early in the morning the day before. I'd lost a fair bit of blood, but had been walking at least once by then, so I wasn't too dopey. My son was sleeping in his bassinet next to my bed. A nurse I hadn't seen before came into my room and grabbed hold of one end of the bassinet and started to pull it away. I grabbed the other end and said, "What are you doing?" She said she was taking him away from his blood tests. Now, I happened to be a registered nurse, and I knew what sorts of things were done to newborns, and he'd already had his tests. I pointed to the band-aid on his heel and said, "He's already had his tests, so what sort of tests are you talking about?" She muttered something about not being sure, but there was some test he needed. I maintained my fast hold on the bassinet and told her to find out what test and then let me know. She went away and never came back, and honestly, I was so out of it I never even thought to mention it to anyone. But the fact is, several babies have been taken that summer by imposters dressed in uniforms, so I will never know for sure, but I felt like we dodged a bullet. You definitely did. If I was in your situation as someone who is not a nurse, I would have definitely questioned it, because he's already had its tests, but at the same time I don't know the process, so it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you were a registered nurse and you knew what was going on, you queen. Every time I was with my brother, this girl used to get so mad, and the main reason I left her is because this woman was crazy, because she said she wants my brother dead and have me only to her, and I said, it's my brother. Brothers always stay together. I'm really, really sorry that happened to you, but I'm really happy that you guys are safe. And that it sounds like you said used, that it sounds like it's not happening anymore, and I'm really, really happy about that. And that's definitely a really scary situation to be in. I couldn't even, imagine. Okay. This woman's in jail. Well, that is the best place for her. Comments. At least she waited until the baby was born to steal it. In my hometown about 5 years ago, there was a woman who cut the baby out of another woman and then told her husband it was her own. Oh my god. She'd been faking a pregnancy so her husband didn't even know what really happened. The baby didn't survive, sadly, but somehow the mother did and the attacker went to prison. I don't really understand how people can fake pregnancies, solely for the fact that it comes to a point where the woman's stomach is going to be quite large, and I understand you can shove pillows and stuff under there, but your husband has to notice at some point something ain't right? So I don't even know. One night she nearly killed my brother with a drink, so I got kind of furious. Well, yeah, I mean, valid. I'm glad he knew better and were able to keep him safe. I was born in 1992 in the USA, and my parents told me that there was a baby kidnapped in the same hospital the day before I was born. Oh my goodness. Makes me think it wasn't unheard of. It's definitely not. It probably happens way more than people think. I've heard that this is actually not too uncommon along with switching babies. It's so scary, but I'm glad everything turned out right for you. Yeah, I was gonna say, like I said, it's probably way more common than people think. Okay. Okay. Big sip of water. Okay, this next one is from 7 months ago. Her room made me sick because when I saw posters of me and my brother's face on the kill list, so I did the right thing and called the police. That's definitely the right thing. 100%. That's really, really scary. Oh my goodness, there's a picture. I'm reading these off my phone, so I can't share them to stream. So I will read the picture to you in just a moment. This is from 7 months ago by a deleted user called Stranger I've Never Seen left a note on my door that said he's been lusting after me. The other day I left my place at 9 p.m. and came back a few hours later. When I came home, there was a note in my door. I walked inside and locked the door and began reading it. Whoever left it sprayed it with a bunch of cologne. This is the note. Okay. The note says, 6'2", black and Puerto Rican mixed guy, 36 years old, 220 pounds, 10-inch eggplant. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. This is serious. I stay extremely close to you and literally lust of giving you orgasms after orgasms. Sorry for how blunt I am, but if you're ever horny and want a big dick, that will definitely make you have the best orgasms of your life. I can be there in 2 minutes. Hit me up. You won't regret hitting me up. I can put my life on that. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be laughing. This man is so desperate. It is very creepy since it's a stranger, but I'm just like imagining if it wasn't a stranger, this would be so funny to me. This isn't funny, this is serious. All this happened in high school. Oh my gosh, that's insane. I would have cried, to be honest. Then they said, this is kind of blowing up, thanks for all the responses. I did a reverse number search and found a name. They did black out the name, by the way. With CS initials. I know the note says CJ and the same age. The number didn't appear, which makes me think he listed a burner number. I told my complex and they made a copy of the note and I told them about my reverse number search. I told the officer as well. A few weeks ago, some guy was smiling at me kind of weird, so I told the officer about that and pointed out a car I think might have been his. The officer said he would call the number, but I haven't heard back from them. I guess my childhood's kind of like a roller coaster. It sounds like it. I would not be able to handle that. Between when I was a kid, my severe depression, anxiety, and I was incredibly sensitive as a child, I would never have been able to handle it. Now I feel like that stuff, I would be crying my eyes out of fear, but I would be able to take the necessary steps. You know what I mean? But back then, absolutely not. Could not have. So, like, props to you. Never had my parents with me, only my brother. I'm sure your brother was very lucky to have an older sibling like you. This is so creepy. Send a screenshot to the landlord and rental office and put that letter in an envelope and folder somewhere. Whoever's doing this probably has done it before. Somebody knows who it is. Tell your neighbors about it and double check all your locks to make sure they work. Be aware of anyone that you keep accidentally running into or seems to know an awful lot about your schedule. Get some pepper spray if you don't have some already. If you have old pepper spray, get a new one. Hopefully it's some socially awkward creep with a crush, but who won't take it further. Sounds like some neckbeard BS. Too chicken to actually talk to a woman, but writes down inappropriate sexual stuff. Gross. That's a long thread, my goodness. Holy crap. There's not a lot of them outside threads. Okay, this guy has a maturity level of a 16-year-old who watches too much porn. I guess the positive is that he left you his number and told you to call him if you were interested, so he's looking for consent and has given you something that you can take to the cops to actually attempt to trace who it is. But seriously, gross as F, all of it. And who actually calls their dick an eggplant? I agree with everyone else that you need to invest in a Ring doorbell ASAP. Definitely let your landlord, if you have one, versus being the homeowner and the police know. What's up with the handwriting? It looks like a 4th grader wrote it. Sometimes I have this feeling when I'm walking alone, I feel someone's behind me. At night times, not daytimes. Me too. Me too. I'm sorry. I have a conference coming up this weekend, and people keep messaging me about it. Okay. I will do. Okay, this one is from just me, or sometimes I hear my name called out by nobody. Yes, me too. Or like something that sounds pretty much like your name, so you're pretty sure someone has called you. This one's from 7 months ago by Drama Affectionate 381. Reddit, I feel like I'm about to lose my mind, is what it's called. Hello, I, a 27-year-old female, am married to my husband, a 31-year-old male, and we have 2 children, which they put fake names, which is Isaac, 8-year-old male, from my first marriage, and Tiana, with my now husband, who is 5-year-old female. I'm new to Reddit, so I have no clue if this is even the right subreddit for my situation. Sounds like it is. I think you're in the right place, homie. I'm very distraught right now because I have been seeing this woman almost everywhere I go, and I have no idea if this is happening by coincidence, and I'm trying to be calm as I write this. I am also not great with English, as it is not my initial language. Bro, you're using words like initial properly. I think you're doing fine. Your English is perfectly fine. Do not even worry. This whole situation started somewhere around May 2022, where me and Isaac were at the local park, just doing our own thing. My son was playing with some other children at the monkey bars when I saw this woman approach me. She had red hair, pretty sure it was natural, and her face seemed tear-strained. I became concerned as I thought she was crying. I proceeded to ask her what was wrong, if she was alright, but she kept staring at my son. The more she looked at him, the more she sobbed. Then, all of a sudden, she sprints to him, running, screaming, "Michael!" She kept calling him that, and it freaked me out. I mean, she was running to my kid and calling him a different name. My son and the other child got scared, and I approached them before she did, as I was faster than her. Then I screamed at her to get lost, but she just stood there as I held my son, and she seemed pretty enraged. She then muttered some things that I couldn't hear as she stomped away. The other child's father and I talked for a bit, and he seemed alarmed by what happened. He pretended she was probably a grieving mother, and that my son looked like the child she lost. I was still disturbed and took my son home. I would probably think the same thing. Since then, I've been afraid to take any of my children to any public areas despite my husband's reassurance. Skip to June 2nd, 2022. I get a call from my school stating that a woman who was a new volunteer for lunch duty kept mentioning that my son was her Mikey Bear, and that she's been looking for him for years. They told me that another volunteer had been working with her report this. I was scared as heck, and I acted immediately by signing my kids out for the day. Then I called the school the next day, and I was informed she was no longer there, so I became pretty freaked out. Skip to last week, July 13th, 2022. It was Tiana's 5th birthday, and we decided to host it at a park in my in-laws' hometown. Everything went well, although I was paranoid. It was then somewhere around 9 p.m. when we began tidying up, and as I looked at many oak trees behind, I could have sworn I saw her. I screamed at the top of my lungs and started chasing her, but she somehow got away. Ever since then, I haven't seen her, but I feel like this is not the end of it. Edit, my parents have arrived. The police are on their way, and the school is going to give this woman's information if the police ask for it. That's the end of that one. So do they get cold when they get scared? Is that a normal thing? That's a normal thing. It's like cold chills or like goosebumps or just cold in general. That tends to be a pretty normal thing. This story, I was thinking about this earlier. Why, hello, welcome. So I have a book that I read last semester. I think it's called Stolen Tongues. It was so good. I don't get that scared by like horror stories or like horror books, but this one, I could not put this book down. I read it within like 3 days. I adored it. And I thought, well, what if I take one of these Reddit days and I read this book? Just read it to you guys. What would you think about that? Because I genuinely think this book is really good. It is fictional, but I really enjoyed it. How many average viewers do you need to get affiliated? Basically 1. It's like 1.5. It's like 1.05 or something. It's crazy. I used to be scared of that stuff, but not anymore now. 47 more until hand reveal. This is very true. I will, once the hand reveal happens, we will be having a hand cam for all games that I play. That sounds fun. Horror book. This is something I don't want to make a normal thing unless I really enjoy a book that I read. I don't go to bookstores often and like find a new book that I'm like, I'll read this. This looks good. This was one of those books. It was one of the only books I've ever picked up at a bookstore in my life and said, I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna read this. And I adored it. It was so good. It scared me and chilled me to the bone. Like, it'd be so fun. So I'm going home for spring break at the end of next week, to which I won't be streaming for a week because it's not worth lugging my PC home just to lug it back here for only a week's worth. But while I'm home, I'll look for that book. So I feel like that'd be something really fun. Anyway, I went on a little bit of a tangent. Let me read some comments. I hate nightmares. Me too. Fun fact about me is that whenever I actually have like a vivid dream that I remember, it is always a nightmare. Every single time. Okay, comments. Document all of it. If the school knew her name, which they should if she volunteered, look her up and see if she has a record, who she is, etc. If you don't have them already, I would even consider cameras in your home. If you think you see her again, record her on your phone. That's extremely creepy and scary for you. Don't wait, go to the police and have them get her name from the school and interview her. This could already qualify as harassment and stalking. Apparently she passed a background check to volunteer at a school. Document everything. Document everything in a journal or on your phone. Get cameras for your house. Security cameras. Yep, document. I'm confused how she got a volunteer position at your son's school. When my daughter was in kindergarten a couple years ago, I had to have background checks done and be fingerprinted before I could volunteer in her classroom. I get that school districts can vary, but I've never heard of a school allowing someone to volunteer who wasn't the parent, grandparent, guardian of a current student. At the very least, they should have her basic information and the police should be able to get it from them. That's the last comment I'll read on this one. How much longer are you streaming for? About 20 minutes. I remember one day me watching a video on YouTube and I got scared and I slammed the laptop and ran to my brother's room. And for 4 weeks, I couldn't get this one image out of my head. Oh my goodness, that is a long time. I've definitely had like videos and books that have done that to me, but not for that long. You must have seen something really freaky. This book that I read though, that I I will read on stream if I can find it. Had me like when I went to lay down and go to sleep, like in the dark, it had me like looking out the window, like almost being paranoid, even though I knew it wasn't real. Oh my gosh, everyone is texting me right now. Why? Alright. Move on to the next one. I couldn't go to sleep because if I tried to close my eyes, I would just see the image. I wish I could remember what the movie was called, but there was a Korean horror film, and oh gosh, I really wish I could remember what it was called. There was this like scary ghost lady that had like her face is like horrifying. That's like I think about every time I see that, it scares me. I wish I could like remember what it was called so I could tell you guys. Okay. Also, you guys are gonna love my first email. I love it so much. It's not, I feel like it's something you wouldn't expect from me. I asked my friend Flora, I gave her 2 options. It's like, oh my gosh, which one do I do first? And she chose this one. And I was like, this is gonna be great. I love it so much. Okay, this one is from 3 months ago by, oh, there's a picture of a doggo. Such Instruction 9751, and this is called Boyfriends Roddy Thinks You Should Leave. I don't know what, oh, Rottweiler, that's probably why there's a picture of a doggo. Okay, so about 9 years ago, my boyfriend, now husband, 44 male, and I, a 40-year-old female, were driving cross country from California to Florida. My husband had an enormous Roddy named Kuma. It means bear in Japanese, and it fit. He was 110 pounds. I had only just met Kuma, maybe 2 days prior, since my husband and I were in a long-distance relationship at the time, so we, Kuma and I, didn't know each other very well yet, but he was a great boy and talked a lot. We call him Umble Grumbles. Oh, what a cute doggo. We stopped at a gas station so that we could all get out, stretch, and use the restrooms. I got Kuma on his leash and said he'd take him for a walk. He got Kuma on his leash and he said he'd take him for a walk. I offered to do it instead since I didn't need to use the restroom urgently. Now, I'm not a small girl. I'm 5'10", but I am petite, as my husband calls me, maybe 125 pounds. My husband is almost 6'5" and built like a Viking, so a dog Kuma's size wouldn't affect him one way or another if he tried to bolt chasing a squirrel or something. I, on the other hand, will admit I was nervous once he handed me the leash to hold him because if he decided to try anything, I wasn't big or strong enough to stop him. My husband noticed my nervousness. He just smiled and said, "Don't worry, he's well trained. He won't take off," and he said he won't let anything happen to you. It's important to note that Kuma had no formal protection training. He just loved whatever his dad did and knew he was supposed to protect and keep it safe when dad wasn't there to do it himself. Once he was sure I was comfortable, my husband headed inside, leaving Kuma and I near the far right side of the gas station, with a little dirt path near a wooded area. It was very dark, and there was a little light being shed so far from the building, but it was a busy little station and I could see people, so I didn't feel isolated or anything. So I started to walk slowly, allowing Kuma to take in his surroundings. When I hear a noise coming from behind me, I turned, startled to see a man walking. He notices me and slows his gait, looks around back at me and smiles eerily. Uh-oh. He changes direction suddenly, smiling... I was combining 2 sentences, my mistake. He changes direction suddenly, heading directly toward me. He says, "It's awful dangerous out here. Are you alone?" Something in his eyes told me to run, run. Just as I'm about to bolt, I start hustling toward the people and lights of the station. I hear another sound. This one's new to me. As I clenched my hand, preparing to run or die, fighting off creepy McCreeperson, I felt something. The leash. Kuma. In that moment, I'd forgotten that I wasn't alone at all. Not by a long shot. The sound I had heard was a warning, a very lethal one. It was the deepest, most menacing growl I've ever heard come out of anything. The beautiful beast stepped out from behind me, where he'd been observing the threat like a giant dragon rising from the shadows. The man's creepy smile slipped off his face. "Hello, my name is Mello, and I'm here from Mr. Fox. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I heard an alert. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the channel, Jello Mello. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so happy to have you here." The alert scares me every time I hear it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was so confused. I thought that was my cheer alert for a second. I was like, but I'm not affiliated yet. Oh my gosh. Okay. The man's creepy smile slipped right off his face, as did a few shades of color. Kuma placed his large body between mine and the approaching strangers and pressed back against me, urging me toward the jeep. He didn't have to tell me twice. I turned and started to make my way back to the car, still holding that leash for dear life. He walked backward, pressed against me the whole time, and watched my back until we made it back to where we had parked. I tried to look for the man, but he either ran back to wherever he came from or made it inside, taking a much longer route, well outside Kuma's reach. I told my husband what happened, and honestly, I'm not sure who would have done more damage to that unfortunate man had they located him. Every day for the next 9 years, Kuma was my best friend and guardian. Rest in peace, baby boy. Aww, what a good doggo. I will go to sleep, so have fun, guys, because it's nearly 10 p.m. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you have a good sleep, and I hope to see you really, really soon. As always, I really enjoyed your company and chatting with you. Oh my gosh, so many emotes. Dog is a legend. Kuma, good boy, Kuma. What a good boy. That's literally what everyone is saying in the comments. Honestly, like, that's exactly what I was saying. My dog is a Rottweiler, Bulldog mix. Bulldog? Yes. Oh my gosh. And a lot of people, Pitbull, not Bulldog. And a lot of people are really nervous and like scared of Bulldogs or Rottweilers, and it's like, I think it depends on how you train them, because my dog is a sweetie. Kuma sounds like a sweetie, so it's just like, it really depends on how you raise them. Hi, I'm new. Welcome to the channel. So glad to have you here. Welcome to the chat. We're just reading some creepy encounter stories. Got a cute husky lab. I flippin' love huskies. And labs. I had a German Shepherd mix, and I think that she was mixed with a husky. Okay, anyway. I'm getting very sidetracked. Maybe I should do just a just chatting stream when we get a few more, like, chatters, followers, and stuff. Because I just have fun just talking to you guys. Okay. A lot of people are just talking about their dogs. Yeah, everyone's just flooding the comments with good boy and, talking about their dog. Okay. Huskies are the best. Talking to be fun though. It is. I really like talking with you guys and learning more about you guys, and just, I don't know, it's fun. I don't like dogs. That's fair. I grew up with dogs, but I prefer cats. So thank you so much for the follow. I'm not really sure how to pronounce your username. Weggeet? I'm doing my best, but thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I'm so happy to have you here. We do need only one more average viewer to get to affiliate, and I will be dropping my very first emote. Oh, the YouTube YT is just YouTube, so Weggy. Weggy, okay. Gotcha. I think we have time for maybe one more, and if it's short, maybe two. Oh my gosh, there's so many stories I just want to read. Okay, this one's from 4 months ago by Awkward Blue Jay 2302 called "My Creepy Neighbor is Obsessed with My 25-year-old Female Daughter." Oh, wow. She's unfortunately gone now, but she was so sweet. Aww. I had a dog named Melody that was my German Shepherd mix, and she had been in my life since I was 5 years old, and she passed away 2 years ago. But we now have Atlas, who is a sweetie. Move away, the neighbor needs to go. Okay, I'll get into it. My creepy neighbor is obsessed with my 25-year-old daughter. Me and my husband and daughter moved into the house next door only a month ago, and he never seemed that interested in talking to me until he saw her, and it's worrying me. When we were outside working on a flower bed that faces his house, he came over to talk. Now he's done this twice, mind you, so being completely honest, it doesn't seem that weird to me at first, until he acted kind of strangely when he saw her. He got wide-eyed and began acting nervous all of a sudden, and I didn't see the connection until I realized he kept glancing or staring at her while talking to me. He was very flustered and hardly ever looked away, and it started making me uncomfortable. I told her to just go inside and that she'd helped me enough with the bed because I didn't like how he was acting, and I could tell that she was starting to get creeped out too. He looks to be 35 to 40, I think, which is just adding to the creepiness of it all. There are a few instances after this where she went outside to check the mail or to take out the trash, and he'd come outside every time trying to talk or just stand there staring at her and saying nothing. After this, she just stopped going out the front door and started going out the back door when helping me with the garden or sometimes to getting something from our shed. But it wasn't long before he caught on to this as well, because he'd been standing there behind the fence just staring the same way, which means he's literally watching for her to come outside all through the day. She's so creeped out now that the only time she leaves the house is with friends or to go to work. She's not even comfortable standing outside anymore, and to make matters worse, now he started coming over every other day or so to knock on our door to talk, which always ends it with me asking questions about her. It always ends it with me asking questions about her, which are personal questions, I might add. We've gotten to the point where we don't even answer the door when it's him because it's so darn often. The whole thing is just creeping me out because my husband is at work most of the time, and I feel like I can't call the police because he hasn't technically done anything, so what should I do? That neighbor, ew. Neighbors are ew sometimes. My neighbors aren't ew. They're nice. That sounds very nice. Listen, my neighbors at home are very nice. I have a sweet mate here, though. Listen, there was a fire alarm at 1 a.m. last night because she burnt something in the microwave. I don't really get how you burn something in the microwave. Anyway. Sometimes neighbors can be annoying. This is so true. My neighbors are my grandparents back at home. So, this man a creep. Imagine the girl was underage. Why didn't the mom call the cops or talk to the neighbor? Yes, talk with a baseball bat. You know, honestly, she could do that. Listen, at least the daughter isn't underaged, so it's not as creepy as it could be, but it's still very, very creepy. I 100% say, agree. It is creepy and it is weird. And unfortunately, it sounds like she can't call the police because she is right. He didn't technically do anything wrong. He's just watching from a distance, and he lives next door, and all he's doing is coming over and trying to say hi. That's how the police would probably look at it. So until he does something, they can't really do anything about it, which is really unfortunate. I don't have a lot of neighbors. I have family as neighbors, so they'd be nice. Me too. Okay, we're gonna read some quick comments, and then I will sneak in one more story for today. Okay, I don't want to hear other people's personal stories. As others have said, this is something your husband needs to take care of. I actually had a similar situation with my wife, and a quick chat with a stalker took care of it with zero drama. I moved into my current house at age 24. My neighbor is older, but very large and physically intimidating man. He started acting almost exactly as you've described and has escalated wildly in the past few years. Now he'll follow me around in his car and openly watch me out of his back window. Try to shut this down as soon as you can. The man will likely escalate this behavior. Stomp it out now. A lot of people are saying to confront him, just be like, I've noticed you've been looking at my daughter, and that's weird. Honestly, do that. He might just be too, like, embarrassed and just, like, never do it again. It's still creepy because it's like, no, it's definitely creepy. I'm not saying it's not creepy. I'm just saying at least the daughter isn't underaged. 100% is still creepy and weird. Just stomp it out with a baseball bat. Okay, we'll do this last one from 2 months ago. I can't even pronounce the username, so I'm gonna skip that. It's called I Fell Into a Grave. This one's shorter. I'm a member of a website that posts pictures of gravestones for people. One day, a picture was requested of a very old gravestone in a graveyard walking distance from my house, so I agreed to take it. One day, my mistake. I walked there, found the grave, stood over the almost 200-year-old grave to see if it was the grave I was looking for, considering how degraded the stone was. Then my foot sank into the grave, up to my hip. I nearly passed out. I was sure that something was going to grab my foot. It took me several minutes to get free, and I very nearly lost my shoe. I was sobbing when I was done. That night, I had an extremely vivid dream that I still remember. I was talking to a Civil War soldier on a battlefield. He was telling me about his life and apologizing for scaring me. He told me to call him Charlie. The next day, I went to the church to let them know about the collapsed grave. They looked it up on their map to make sure which one it was. I'm absolutely serious when I say this. He was a soldier who was killed in the Civil War. His first name was Charles. Ooh. Yeah, at least she's not underage. That's so nasty. I would have cried. Like, nothing happened, but, like, I would have cried. You're a good storyteller. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You have scary ambiance for the scary stories. Yes, I do. That's just a story, a Reddit story. Thanks for listening. That's creepy. It is very creepy. Oh my gosh, that is a long comment, and I don't have the patience to read it. Guys, I wish the comments weren't all like talking about their own experiences. I'm sorry, just make your own Reddit post. That's sick. Shout out to Charlie, y'all. We stan Charlie. I mean, the afterlife is real, and I bet they're all just chilling till Judgment Day, or till they want to, or they would just want to stay on Earth. No reason to deny life after death. Well, you're getting into like religion there, and that's their belief. I don't believe that, but you do you. I went to the site kind of expecting to find US centered site, but it's from around the world. Thanks, OP. Interesting. I would have been freaked out too. Alright. I think Twitch almost crashed yesterday because there were 2 million people just watching Minecraft. Yeah, the Squidcraft games. I've been watching those. Twitch has been very slow, definitely, when those are happening. I'm going to change my music and hop back over and just say a few more things. bloop, is me. Well, we are going to end it off there, but I really appreciate chat was very active today, and I really appreciate all of you guys joining and like chatting with me. I really appreciate it so much. No stream tomorrow because I'm going to be going to see Hadestown, which I'm really excited for. Normally I stream something different every single day, so if you want, you can check out my Twitter. I post weekly stream schedules there, or here's the fun part. Or if you don't have Twitter or don't want to go find my Twitter, that was my computer, you can go click this link and join my Discord, where stream updates, Twitter updates are immediately sent, and you can stay updated really easily. So I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I'll be back Friday at around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard for some no sleep Reddit stories, which are the scariest ones in my opinion. So we love you. Thank you so much. I don't think I have anything else to say. We're gonna see if there's any friends that we can raid today. But while I'm doing that, for those of you watching on YouTube, if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. It takes 2 seconds and it's completely free, so you can always unsubscribe later. Friends, anyone streaming? Oh gosh, 2 of them are. Do we go stream FQR, Fairy Queen Raven? She's playing Beat Saber, or do we raid Astra, who's doing Genshin? That is the question, isn't it? Do you guys have a preference? I don't know. I'll just pick someone if you don't. Beat Saber? Okay. We'll do FQR. Rating in 10 seconds. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a really great day, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye, guys.